Well, it's official. In news that is somehow both unsurprising and wildly disappointing, the MLB owners have approved the Oakland Athletics bid for relocation to Las Vegas. As so many of you have kindly reminded me in the past few hours on this very channel, I once stated the A's would not relocate to Las Vegas. Sure, I could sit here and try to make excuses or even try to hold out hope that somehow the A's will stay in Oakland, but you know what? I'm not afraid to admit that I am wrong. Yes, I was wrong about this. So be it. Honestly, I'm wrong about stuff all of the time. In college, I would incessantly argue that monarchies were the most effective form of government. Oh, college Cheyenne, what were you doing? Regardless, there's nothing wrong with being wrong or being incorrect. I will never understand the passionate desire some people have to be right on the internet. It's this weird, almost addiction people have about being right about things like this. And so while all of you are reminding me that you were right and I was wrong, I mean, congrats, I guess? Like, what are you even looking for here? As I reflect back on my Oakland Athletics 2023 Magnet schedule, I can't help but think, you're right, but is that a good thing? Like, why would you want to be right about this? For some, it's this inherent desire to portray the Bay Area in a bad light. Some of you guys just have hard-ons for the Bay Area or California or whatever the case may be, wanting it to seem like this destitute hellhole, despite the fact that you probably don't live in or around there and you're just parroting second or third hand stories, or you're just so brainwashed by, well, I'm not going to say it, but we all know what you're brainwashed by anyway. What does the Oakland Athletics relocation to Las Vegas really mean? Because you may be right and you may be doing your victory lap, but honestly, the reality of the situation is terrible. Like, how could you want this to be? How could you be celebrating the new world we now find ourselves in when it comes to professional sports? In the world of baseball, this now means that Rob Manfred and his shitty Van Heusen suits are free to basically do whatever they want. If you have noticed in recent times, Manfred and Major League Baseball have basically been acting unilaterally to do whatever the hell they want to do, not just in terms of relocations and stadiums, but when it comes to rules, when it comes to the game itself. This victory for John Fisher and Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball essentially emboldens, empowers, and gives them the freedom to do whatever the hell they want without fans' consent, without cities' consent, without even players' consent. We've already seen this doesn't stop with Oakland, whether it's Baltimore, Milwaukee, Chicago, wherever there is a baseball team, you're going to see this playbook be dusted off and handed out. Give us a new stadium or we're going to move, and it doesn't matter if you have a plan. It doesn't matter if you're moving to a bigger market or a better market. None of that matters. All we care about is what we, and by we, I mean Manfred and owners, want. How is this a positive? What else are some of you celebrating by being right when it comes to the Oakland Athletics relocation? What about the fact now that fans and taxpayers don't need to have a seat at the table? They don't need to have a voice when it comes to these issues. Manfred, Fisher, the state of Nevada, they have all boxed out what are probably the most important stakeholders in the process, fans and taxpayers. At no point has their voice mattered. Sure, they've been able to get their voice out there and their message out there, whether it was Unite the Bay or even at some of the hearings, but it hasn't been listened to. It's been completely ignored. Manfred, Fisher, Major League Baseball have just put on the earmuffs and done whatever they wanted. All of you out there celebrating the Oakland A's relocation, what you're also celebrating is the fact that fans no longer matter. They are nothing but lowly serfs in the Holy Roman Empire that has become sports. We should be quiet. We should never act up. We should thank our lucky stars that we are allowed, that we have the privilege to toil away in these farms, serving our lords. What a freaking wonderful life that is. Feudalism is crap, and right now, the sports world, as far as it relates to teams and fans and owners, it has become a feudal cesspool. So while all of you out there saying, yeah, Las Vegas A's, woohoo, what you're saying is, as a fan, I don't matter. Good job. Finally, you know what else you're correct about? You're correct about greedy owners being allowed to do whatever they want, being allowed to not invest their own money, which they claim to have lots of, but somehow don't want to spend on things like new stadiums. Owners of all sports are going to use this template to basically blackmail cities and markets into getting what they want without spending any money. Forget education, forget having services to support people and providing a safety net when it's required. All us common folks, we just need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But you know who doesn't have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps? The billionaires who could actually do this on their own. Look, we saw with the Chase Centers, when owners aren't afraid to invest in their product, in their brand, in their business, they will reap the rewards tenfold. Yet, it's cool for us as the general public to invest in this for them so they can make more money. How does this work, and why is this a good thing? You're celebrating this? That is freaking dumb. At the end of the day, we all knew the scam Dave Cavill, John Fisher, Rob Manfred, and Major League Baseball were running. It was voiced out loud and clear. Everyone who wants to see the absolute shadiness and dodginess and just terribleness of this relocation can find it. It's out there. It's in the open. Yet, we as a society were powerless to stop it. We can sit there and point and explain and make it known, yet none of that matters because they have become so insulated and so detached from reality. They no longer have to answer the hard questions, and they no longer are accountable to us, the fans, the taxpayers, the people who make sports possible. Was I wrong about saying the Oakland A's wouldn't relocate to Las Vegas? Absolutely I was, and I will gladly admit that. The thing you have to admit though, or at least maybe you want to reconsider, is what does this mean for sports? Is that warm, fuzzy feeling you feel in your stomach right now about being right? Is it worth the future of sports and sports ownership and teams and the way they're going to behave and act moving forward? Is this self-satisfaction worth the crappy future we now face as fans of baseball and sports in general? I'd say think about it, but we all know that those who are gloating and celebrating this relocation, they're too self-involved. They're too lost in their own just warped perspective of the world to understand the new world order we face when it comes to sports ownership. But man, does it look freaking bleak if you actually sit here and think just a little critically about what the Oakland Athletics relocation really means. I will always have my Oakland Athletics magnet schedule from this season, and I will always have my memories of the Oakland Coliseum until the end of my days. As for all of those people celebrating the Oakland Athletics relocation decision to Las Vegas, well, I guess all I can say is this. When it is your team facing relocation, or when your team's owner starts complaining about how $500 million isn't enough for their new stadium and that they need $1 billion, or whatever the case may be, whatever game of 3-card Monty they want to run on your city and your fan base, I can't really have any sympathy for you because you just didn't get it here. It could have been prevented, it could have been stopped, but hey, at least you're right. So when you go to bed at night and you feel all comfy and you can just have that smirk on your face, I guess that makes it all worth it. That does it for me. I am the incorrect Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out to the 25.